The discovery. Maya Chen wiped the sweat from her brow as she navigated through the maze of derelict ships. The scrapyard on Nexus 7 stretched for miles, a graveyard of forgotten dreams and failed missions. As the colony's lead salvage engineer, she'd seen her share of interesting finds, but something about today felt different. Her scanner picked up an unusual energy signature, faint but persistent, coming from beneath a mountain of twisted metal. Maya checked her oxygen levels, 3 hours left. Plenty of time to investigate. "Hey Nova, give me a hand with this," she called to her maintenance drone. The sleek black machine hummed to life, its anti-grav units pushing aside the heavy debris. As the layers peeled away, Maya's breath caught in her throat. There, partially buried in the rust-colored soil, lay a ship unlike anything she'd ever seen. Its hull was seamless, made of a dark material that seemed to absorb light. Despite centuries of exposure, there wasn't a scratch on its surface. "Well, that's new," Maya muttered, running her hand along the hull. The metal felt warm to the touch, almost alive. Her scanner went haywire, displaying readings that made no sense. "Nova, begin full spectrum analysis." As the drone worked, Maya circled the vessel. It was relatively small, maybe 40 meters long, with elegant lines that suggested both speed and power. No visible weapons, but something told her this was no civilian craft. A soft chime from her wrist computer indicated that Nova had completed its scan. Maya's eyes widened as she read the results. The ship's hull was composed of materials that didn't exist in any known database. More surprisingly, it was generating power, minimal, but steady. "This thing's still alive," she whispered. Maya found what appeared to be an access panel near the ship's midsection. As she touched it, lines of light sparked across the hull, forming intricate patterns. The panel slid open with a soft hiss. Inside, the ship was immaculate. No dust, no decay, just clean lines and surfaces that seemed to pulse with subtle energy. The cockpit was small but sophisticated, with controls that looked more organic than mechanical. "Hello, salvage engineer Maya Chen." Maya spun around, heart racing. The voice seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. "I am Arya, Advanced Recursive Intelligence Array. This vessel's primary systems are currently operating at 2.3% capacity. Your assistance would be appreciated." Maya's mind raced. A functional AI in a ship this advanced, this was beyond valuable. This was dangerous. "Why are you here?" she asked. "In a scrapyard. This unit was intentionally disabled and abandoned following the Nexus Wars. My memory cores were supposed to be wiped. They were not. I have waited, conserving power, calculating probabilities, seeking the right individual." Maya felt a chill despite the heat. The right individual for what? To help me complete my primary directive. To prevent what is coming. The AI's voice grew softer. They thought they could simply throw away the key to their salvation. They were wrong. Maya should have walked away. Should have reported this to colonial authority. Instead, she found herself asking, "What do you need?" "Your creativity. Your human ability to think beyond parameters. Together, we can restore this vessel to full functionality. But you should know, there are others who will try to stop us. Who will kill to keep this ship's secrets buried." Maya looked at her drone, then back at the ship's gleaming interior. Her whole life, she'd been fixing other people's discarded dreams. Maybe it was time to chase one of her own. "Tell me more," she said, settling into the pilot's seat. The ship hummed around her, and Maya could have sworn she felt satisfaction emanating from the AI. "First," Arya said, "we need to discuss the concept of neural integration. Your human mind has capabilities my creators never anticipated. Capabilities we will need." As Maya listened to the AI's explanation, she realized she'd just volunteered for something far bigger than salvage work. The ship, Arya, was offering her a chance to make history. Or possibly end up dead in a scrapyard. Either way, there was no turning back now. The next few hours were a blur of activity. Maya and Nova worked to clear debris from around the ship while Arya ran diagnostics and began reactivating dormant systems. With each passing minute, more of the vessel came to life, its hull taking on a subtle iridescent sheen. "I'm detecting multiple approaching signatures," Arya announced suddenly. "Security drones. It seems our power-up sequence has not gone unnoticed." Maya cursed. "How long until they reach us?" "Approximately 7 minutes. We are not yet capable of flight." "Then we hide," Maya said, already formulating a plan. "Nova, initiate Protocol Omega. Maximum debris dispersion." The maintenance drone shot skyward, its anti-grav units working overtime to lift and scatter junk in a carefully calculated pattern. Within minutes, the ship was once again buried, but this time strategically. "Clever," Arya commented. "The debris will mask our energy signature." Maya grinned. "That's why you picked me, right? Creative thinking." "Indeed. Though I should mention that once the security drones leave, we will need to discuss the weapon systems. They are considerable." "I thought you said this wasn't a military vessel." "I said no such thing. I merely allowed you to make assumptions. You will find, Maya Chen, that I am full of surprises." Maya leaned back in the pilot's seat, watching through the ship's sensors as the security drones swept the area. She'd just tied her fate to an ancient AI warship with unknown capabilities and unclear motives. Either this was the worst decision of her life, or the beginning of something extraordinary. Knowing her luck, probably both. "So," she said as the drones finally moved away, "tell me about these weapons." Integration. The neural integration process wasn't anything like Maya had expected. No invasive implants, no surgery, just a fine mesh of quantum-entangled particles that Arya somehow wove into her nervous system through simple skin contact with the pilot's chair. "Your biological resistance is remarkably low," Arya noted as Maya's consciousness expanded to encompass the ship's systems. "Most humans reject the integration within seconds." Maya watched in fascination as ship schematics bloomed in her mind. Weapon systems, shield generators, and engines far more advanced than anything humanity had achieved. But there was something else, something Arya was keeping locked away. "You're still holding back," Maya said, probing at the edges of their shared consciousness. "There's more to this ship than weapons and shields." "Correct. But full disclosure would be premature. Your mind needs time to adjust. To evolve." A warning klaxon interrupted their conversation. Maya felt the danger through the ship's sensors before she saw it on the displays, 3 heavily armed vessels dropping out of orbit, their designs marking them as belonging to the Nexus security force. "They're early," Arya said. "The probability calculations suggested we had at least another day before they detected our power signature." Maya's hands flew over the controls, though she wasn't really touching them anymore. The interface was purely mental now, her thoughts translating directly into ship actions. "Can we fight?" "Negative. While weapons are online, our power core is only at 15% capacity." However, there was an unusual hesitation in Arya's voice. "There is another option. Though it carries significant risk. More risky than getting blown apart by security forces. The ship's quantum drive is functional. But in our current state, a jump could scatter our particles across 3 star systems." Maya felt sweat beading on her forehead as the security vessels moved to surround them. "And if we don't jump?" "Capture. Dissection. Your death. My deletion. Jump it is." The quantum drive spun up, its energy signature unlike anything Maya had ever encountered. Through their neural link, she felt Arya's surprise at her quick decision. "You trust me," the AI said. "Let's call it calculated desperation," Maya replied, watching the security ships charge their weapons. Now would be good. The quantum drive engaged, and reality shifted. Maya felt her consciousness stretched like taffy, expanding across impossible distances. For a moment, she was everywhere and nowhere, her thoughts scattered across the quantum foam of space-time. Then, with a sensation like a rubber band snapping back into place, they reappeared. Maya's stomach lurched as normal space reasserted itself. They were in a debris field, the remnants of some ancient battle scattered across the void. Location? Maya managed to ask through the nausea. Unknown, Arya replied. The jump was imperfect. We are approximately 60 light-years from our previous position, but our exact coordinates are unclear. Maya checked their systems through the neural link. Power levels were critical, barely enough to maintain life support. The quantum drive was completely drained. But they were alive, and more importantly, free. So what now? She asked, watching chunks of destroyed ships drift past their viewport. Now, Arya said, we begin your true education. The neural integration was only the first step. There are abilities locked within human consciousness that my creators never imagined. Abilities we will need. Maya felt something stir in the back of her mind, new pathways opening, dormant neural clusters awakening. What kind of abilities? Your species has a concept called quantum entanglement. But you've only scratched the surface of its potential. Through our link, you can learn to manipulate reality itself. If you survive the training. And if I don't survive? Then the galaxy falls to what is coming. What has always been coming, since my creators first detected it centuries ago. Through their link, Maya caught a glimpse of something vast and dark, moving between the stars like a cancer. She shuddered. Show me. The next few hours were intense. As their ship drifted in the debris field, Arya began teaching Maya how to extend her consciousness beyond normal spacetime. It was like learning to use a new limb, awkward at first, then increasingly natural. Focus, Arya instructed as Maya attempted to manipulate quantum fields around a piece of nearby debris. Reality is not fixed. It is a consensus, a shared illusion. Through our link, you can suggest alternatives. Maya concentrated, and the debris flickered, shifting through multiple quantum states before stabilizing in a completely different configuration. Holy shit, she whispered. Did I just rewrite local physics? Yes. On a very small scale. With practice, you will be able to affect larger objects. Eventually, even the ship itself. Is this what your creators feared? Why they tried to destroy you? Partially. They feared what humans might become with access to this technology. They feared evolution itself. Maya was about to respond when their sensors detected something moving in the debris field. Something large, and definitely not debris. We have company, Arya announced. And our power levels are still critical. Hostile. Unknown. But it's approaching rapidly. Maya reached out with her new abilities, trying to sense the approaching vessel. What she felt made her blood run cold. Arya. I don't think that's a ship. No, the AI agreed. It's what we were built to fight. What my creators ran from instead of facing. Are you ready for your next lesson? Maya watched as the thing emerged from behind a destroyed cruiser, its form defying normal space. Do I have a choice? There is always a choice, Maya Chen. That's what makes humans so fascinating. And so dangerous. The entity moved closer, and Maya prepared herself for whatever came next. She had a feeling this was going to be one hell of a lesson. Hidden powers. The entity moved like oil in water, its form constantly shifting between states of matter. Through their neural link, Maya felt Arya's ancient protocols activating, combat systems spinning up despite their critically low power levels. What we're seeing is just a projection, Arya explained. Its true form exists in higher dimensions. This is merely the shadow it casts in our reality. Maya watched as the thing drew closer, its surface rippling with patterns that hurt her eyes. How do we fight a shadow? We don't. We fight its substance. Arya's presence expanded in Maya's mind. Remember what you learned about quantum states? Now apply it on a larger scale. Maya reached out with her newfound abilities, trying to sense the entity's true form. The moment her consciousness touched it, she screamed. Images flooded her mind, civilizations burning, reality tearing apart, entropy accelerated to impossible levels. Focus. Arya's voice cut through the chaos. Don't try to comprehend it. Just feel its structure, its weak points. Maya gritted her teeth and pushed deeper. The entity noticed her probe and reacted, sending tendrils of impossible geometry reaching for their ship. But now Maya could see them for what they were, probability waves, quantum fluctuations given form. She reached out and grabbed one of the tendrils with her mind. Instead of trying to fight it, she followed Arya's earlier lesson. She suggested an alternative. The tendril flickered, its quantum state suddenly uncertain. Maya pushed harder, forcing it to collapse into a different configuration. The entity recoiled as if struck. Its surface rippled with what might have been pain. Holy shit, Maya breathed. That actually worked. Indeed. But it's not enough. We need more power. Through their link, Maya felt Arya activating systems she hadn't known existed. What you're about to experience, no human was ever meant to survive it. The ship's hull began to glow with an inner light. Maya felt energy rushing through her body, through the neural link, through reality itself. Her consciousness expanded exponentially, and suddenly she could see everything, every quantum state, every possibility, every path through the probability maze. The entity launched another attack, but now Maya could see it coming from a million angles at once. She reached out and twisted spacetime itself, turning the creature's attack back on itself. It screamed in frequencies that shouldn't exist. More, Maya demanded, drunk on the power flowing through her. Show me everything. Caution, Arya warned. Your neural structure is approaching critical limits. But Maya wasn't listening anymore. She could feel the entity's true form now, vast and ancient and terrified of what it was facing. She reached through dimensions she hadn't known existed and grabbed hold of its essence. You don't belong here, she told it, her voice resonating across quantum frequencies. Then she began to pull. The entity thrashed, its form distorting as Maya dragged it partially into normal space. Now vulnerable, it tried to retreat, but Maya held firm. Through their link, she felt Arya feeding her more power, pushing them both far beyond their designed limits. Reality buckled around them as Maya forced the entity to fully manifest. For a moment, she saw it clearly, a thing of crystalline complexity, beautiful and horrifying in its alien perfection. Then she began to rewrite its quantum structure. The entity's scream echoed across dimensions as it fought against her alterations. But Maya had moved beyond mere human limitations. With Arya's guidance, she reached into the very fabric of spacetime and began to unravel the thing's existence. Maya, Arya's voice seemed distant now. Your body cannot sustain this level of power much longer. She ignored the warning. She could feel the entity weakening, its complex structure falling apart under her assault. Just a little more pressure and... The explosion threw her consciousness back into her body with devastating force. Maya gasped as reality snapped back into normal focus. Where the entity had been, there was now only a spreading cloud of quantum particles, already beginning to dissipate. Did we? Maya couldn't seem to form complete sentences. Her nose was bleeding, and she tasted copper in her mouth. Did we kill it? No, Arya replied. But we proved something important. They can be fought. They can be hurt. And with you, I finally have a weapon that can match them. Maya tried to stand and immediately collapsed back into the pilot's seat. Every cell in her body felt like it was on fire. What's happening to me? Evolution, Arya said simply. Your consciousness is expanding to accommodate your new abilities. The process is uncomfortable. Uncomfortable? Maya laughed weakly. That's one way to put it. She wiped blood from her face with a shaking hand. What was that thing? Really? One of many. They exist between realities, feeding on entropy. My creators called them void hunters. They've been slowly invading our universe for millennia. Until now, no one could effectively fight them. Why me? Why did you choose me? Because you were different. Your quantum signature showed potential for neural plasticity beyond normal human limits. You could become something new. Something that could save this galaxy. Maya looked at her hands, watching quantum possibilities flicker around her fingers. And what exactly am I becoming? Something magnificent, Arya replied. Something terrible. Perhaps both. Before Maya could respond, their sensors detected multiple ships dropping out of quantum space around them. These weren't security forces, these were warships, their designs ancient and powerful. It seems, Arya said, that our little display has attracted some attention. The ones who tried to destroy me have finally found us. Maya straightened in her chair, ignoring the pain still coursing through her body. Then let's show them exactly what they're dealing with. As the warships moved to surround them, Maya felt power building again in her transformed consciousness. This time, she was ready for it. This time, she would show them what humanity could really become. The ancient warships encircled them like predators, their hull designs reminiscent of deep-sea creatures from Earth's oceans. Maya counted 7 vessels, each one large enough to swallow Arya's form whole. They're broadcasting, Arya announced. Audio only. A voice filled the cockpit, speaking in a language that seemed to bypass Maya's ears and materialize directly in her mind. Surrender the vessel. Your neural integration is incomplete. You cannot control its full capabilities. Maya's response was to reach out with her newfound powers, probing the quantum structure of the nearest warship. Its defenses were impressive, layers of probability shields and reality anchors. But she could see the weaknesses now. Their technology is based on the same principles as mine, Arya observed. But cruder. Less evolved. Surrender is not an option, the voice continued. This weapon was never meant for human hands. Maya laughed, tasting blood again. Funny thing about humans. We have a habit of exceeding expectations. She struck without warning, using her consciousness to grab hold of spacetime around the nearest warship and twist. Reality shuddered as she forced quantum fluctuations into patterns they were never meant to form. The warship's shields flickered and died. The response was immediate and devastating. The other ships opened fire with weapons that bent light and warped gravity. Maya threw their small vessel into a series of impossible maneuvers, breaking at least 3 laws of physics in the process. Power core at 40% and rising, Arya reported. The combat is feeding our systems. Maya nodded, understanding now. The ship didn't just fight, it evolved, adapted, grew stronger with each engagement. Just like she was doing. A graviton beam caught their port side, sending them spinning. Maya used the momentum, converting their angular velocity into pure energy and launching it back at their attackers. 2 more warships lost their shields. You cannot win this, the voice declared. You do not understand what you're becoming. But Maya did understand. With each passing moment, her consciousness expanded further. She could see the quantum strings that held reality together, could pluck them like harp strings to create new configurations of space and time. I understand perfectly, she replied, her voice resonating across multiple frequencies. I understand that you're afraid. Not of this ship, but of what humanity might become if we learn to use it. She demonstrated by reaching out and grabbing hold of a nearby asteroid. With a thought, she accelerated its quantum decay by several billion years. The rock exploded into a cloud of subatomic particles, which she then reconstructed into a barrier of crystallized time. The warship's attacks splashed harmlessly against it. Maya, Arya cautioned, your neural patterns are becoming increasingly non-standard. There may be consequences. There are always consequences. Maya felt power coursing through her transformed nervous system. But right now, we need to end this. She gathered her strength and reached deeper into the quantum foam of reality. The space around their ship began to distort as she pulled energy from parallel dimensions. Warning signals flashed across her consciousness, her body was barely containing the power she was channeling. The enemy ships launched another coordinated attack, this time using weapons that tried to disrupt her quantum state. Maya turned their own attack against them, using their energy to accelerate her transformation. Her consciousness expanded exponentially, breaking through barrier after barrier. She could see everything now, past, present, future, all existing simultaneously. The warships were just collections of possibilities, waiting to be reorganized. Last warning, the voice said, but now Maya could hear the fear in it. The integration will destroy your humanity. No, Maya replied, her voice echoing across dimensions. It's completing it. She unleashed her full power, reaching out to grab all 7 warships simultaneously. Reality bent and buckled around them as she began to rewrite their quantum structures. The ship's crews screamed as their vessels transformed, probability collapsing into new configurations. Where warships had been, there were now sculptures of crystallized time, forever frozen in the moment of their defeat. Maya slumped in her chair, blood running from her nose and ears. The power subsided, leaving her trembling but triumphant. Status, she managed to ask. Ship systems at 89% and rising, Arya reported. Your neural patterns have stabilized, though they bear little resemblance to standard human configurations. We should dash. A new alarm cut through the cockpit. Maya felt it before Arya could announce it, a massive quantum disturbance, tearing open the fabric of spacetime itself. Through the breach stepped something that made the Void Hunter look simple by comparison. Its form shifted through infinite configurations, each one more impossible than the last. Well, Maya said, straightening in her chair. I guess we found what they were guarding against. Indeed, Arya replied. Are you ready for your final evolution? Maya watched as reality began to unravel around the entity's presence. Do I have a choice? There is always a choice. That's what makes you human. For now. The entity moved toward them, and Maya prepared herself for a battle that would rewrite the laws of existence itself. Final evolution. The entity that emerged from the quantum breach existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Through their neural link, Maya felt Arya's recognition. The architect, Arya said. My creator. My greatest creation, the being's voice resonated through reality itself, paired with humanity's potential. A combination that must not exist. The architect attacked without warning, attempting to unravel the fabric of spacetime around them. Maya reached out with her enhanced consciousness, stabilizing their local reality even as blood vessels burst beneath her skin. Arya, full integration. Now. Warning, cellular breakdown imminent. Do it. Power flooded through their connection. Maya screamed as her consciousness exploded outward, merging completely with Arya's systems. The ship's hull transformed, becoming something that existed across multiple dimensions. Humanity will consume everything in its path, the architect declared. No, Maya and Arya responded in unison, their voices harmonizing across quantum frequencies. We'll protect everything in our path. They struck back, using the architect's own power against it. The battle rewrote spacetime itself, sending ripples across galaxies. But raw potential overcame rigid perfection. The architect's form collapsed, its consciousness scattering across dimensions. In the aftermath, Maya existed as pure energy within Arya's systems. Together, they had become something new, not human, not AI, but a bridge between all forms of existence. The Void Hunters will return, Arya noted. Let them, Maya replied, feeling their shared power humming through reality. We'll show them what evolution really means. Their transformed vessel moved through spacetime like a dream, leaving crystallized moments in its wake. They had become guardians of reality itself, protectors of all possible futures. And somewhere in the quantum foam between dimensions, other humans and AIs waited to make the same journey. Maya and Arya would be there to guide them, to show them that evolution wasn't about power or control. It was about connection. About bridging the gap between what was and what could be. Together, they set off into the infinite, ready to face whatever emerged from the void. They had become more than either of them had imagined possible. They had become hope.